Hello, this is George Sandman. I'm the founder and CEO of Growth Drive. And Growth Drive is a system used by business advisors to drive client profits, growth, and value. Now, we're also a community. Every week we get together to talk about all things business advisor, everything clients, cases, things we're seeing out in the world. Now, tune in here to this podcast, and you can join the conversation by scanning this QR code, passcode 867-5309. Jump into the conversation. Everyone's welcome. We're looking forward to having you. So here we go. On with the show.
Guys, I have reviewed the releasable version of it's a major software update. Hey Jeff, how are you?
Great. Good morning.
You're going to see some tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow. But it should be, I have approved for release, and so they'll release it overnight, the discounted cash flow calculation of value, but that has ripple effects through the whole system. It impacts the range of value report. We have a new financial data module. It impacts simulator. It ripples throughout the system, and so maybe tomorrow during office hours, I'd be happy to walk people through it. We will be, of course, preparing and releasing a complete set of updated onboarding videos that'll be available to every subscriber, and then we'll have a webinar introducing the changes. And then my ask. Good morning, Eric. My ask of the community is that those of you who have access to Clarity. No, having access to Clarity is not a prerequisite for being in this great community. But those of you who have access to it, when you're cruising around, I love feedback as to, I mean, if you see a major design flaw, please, or you have an idea, you're like, wow, this is a major thing. I just don't want you to I'm not asking for you to invest a ton of time, but if you see the odd, if there are any typos anywhere, I'd love to know about them. We work hard to make sure that there are none, but it's a huge suite now.
Well, let's talk about the reality of this whole thing. You ready?
Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Get more clients, worry about the software less.
Is that an admonition to me or to the world generally?
Well, it's like, nothing personal, but Clarity does everything I need it to do right now and more.
Yep.
And my client's experience at Clarity is not driven by the software. It's driven by my interaction and relationship with my client or my collaborators. Hey, Eric. Right? Hey, Tim. Yeah. Right. I think people like to major in the minors.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like, are the people that are complaining about the software making over $300,000 a year off of it?
No one is complaining about the software. I'm happy to report. There are guys who struggle a little bit with, there's nothing in the software that would fix the things with which they struggle, but it's not very many.
Which is getting clients.
Which is getting clients, which is working with clients, which is also being, if your client looks you in the eye and tells you that their $1 million gross annual revenue software company can earn 12x, and anyone who says other is stoned, that person might be true. That might be true if they can attract just the right strategic investor. Okay. By the way, you're not going to like the terms of that deal. But anyhow, that's just kind of an example of, hey, George, the software is returning a value of X. By the way, 7X for a software business with only $1 million of, I mean, that's a beefy value.
George, I just echo what Mike just said.
That's that size. Anyway, I digress. And Mike, the point's a good one. If you don't have clients, this is all an academic exercise. And
George, I just echo what Mike said. That's not a software problem. That's a you need to carry a 2x4 in your bag of tricks problem so that you can, pop one to people who have idiot ideas, right? And
Like, what do people need help on? Like, yeah, we got this great community here. Some of you are incredibly successful, carving myself out, right? But like, like that's what I love about the Klatsch is when we get focused on what do people need that are here that are investing this time, you know? And we lost somebody, but that's the way it goes. But like, what do people need? Like I've talked to some of you all, so I know some of the situations. But what does everybody need?
a new barber.
George needs new teeth.
No, I don't need new teeth. I had great teeth.
You
I
need
just
more
don't know how to
dental.
hold it. God damn it! Then they're mine.
Well, he needs to sue his dentist. But like, what do you guys need?
Well, he keeps going in and out, George. Mike, you raise a good point, right? So
I'm just not.
yeah, George, I just jumping in. Mike raises a good point. What do people need? And so I would say getting more business. That's where you're at, Mike, and that's been your clarion call, which is excellent.
Yeah, well, I need more business too.
But then there's use of the core methodology and tools. Now, what I think I hear you say, George, there's all this other stuff. Do we need it? How do we use it? When do we use it? How does it help you get new clients? How does it help you retain and grow current clients? And I think in my conversations, I need personally, I need to focus to learn how to do that better because I'm not sure. So discounted cash flow tool, when do I use it? I don't see where I would ever lead with it. How then will it help me with a client? And when do I use it so it brings that client more value?
That's
I
exactly
don't know.
that's exactly what I'm talking about, Larry. Is like, at the end of the day, what are we trying to do? I'm very fortunate in that I collaborate with other growth drivers that do some of what I consider to be the heavy lifting, the finance operations, that kind of stuff. Right. And I kind of stay in my lane, which is plenty intricate enough. But at the end of the day, like, how does everyone else look at working with clients? Because I think that's a real answer to your question, Larry, is if you have an individual methodology to how you are delivering whatever promise that you have made to a client, when like discounted cash flows comes in, is that relevant? For me, zero relevance to anything that I directly do. Still bitching. Like, I think it's cool. If somebody ever asked me, I'd be like, yeah, we got it. Let's get on chat and figure out. Claire will tell me what it does. Right. But, but like, I imagine the DCF is more relevant for Eric than it is for me potentially, because Eric is, an expert on that stuff, not me. I love what you said, Larry, because it's like these features, where are they relevant? And I would say, number one, the 3 dimensions of growth is all that's necessary to sell Growth Drive. I mean, that's how you get your appointments.
Yeah, I think I think this is a fantastic discussion. I do think we all have a need to grow our business from a revenue standpoint. We all have that need to go get more clients. What I love about Coffee Clutch and the sharing of ideas is, uh, you know, Mike, I'm enjoying collaborating with you too. I'm looking for more people that say, hey, I don't know everything because I sure don't know everything. And who else can I collaborate with here that 1 + 1 can equal 3 when we go to a client? And Mike and I have already proved that math out together. Now I want to go find some more of you that I can collaborate with and we can go do some interesting things in the marketplace. And, you know, yay for great software, George, but the software is not going to solve that problem. That problem is going to get solved by us deciding hey, Steven and I can do this together and it's going to be really great, or Larry and I can do this together and that's going to be really great. And it's going to be very different than what Steven and I do together, because Steven's skill set and Larry's skill set are totally different than my skill set. And that's where the real, to me, that's where the real value is going to come out of this, learning from each other, but also collaborating with each other.
I mean, are any of you all collaborating with each other?
Yeah.
Who else has collaborated with somebody? Mike and I have already shared that we are. Who else has collaborated with somebody in the community?
And by that, I mean making money together.
Ed and
Larry.
I.
Yeah. Joe, you and Ed have talked about your collaboration.
Right.
Larry, who you schlepping around with?
Oh, Marie Benedetto.
I was gonna say you're with Marie, right?
Marie Benedetto and I have done projects.
Good.
And Steve Cummings and I have prepared to go to market, have gone to market. And I'm on his website in that collaborative model that Tim is building, that type of model.
How's the experience
on
been?
his website.
How's the experience been? Like when you look at the numbers and ROI and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you're a sharp guy.
So there's a difference between going together to market like you and Eric are doing and Tim is building versus collaborating when opportunity comes up that you realize together is a better fit than alone.
Yeah.
But it's not going together to market per se.
Well, both are good, by the way. I do both. I go to market with Mike, but I also have partners that I bring in when I know there's a part of the conversation that I'm not going to be able to deliver as well as somebody else can, and I bring them into it, right?
Larry, how's it? So like, I think you beautifully highlighted the two major ways that collaboration occurs. Would you look at, like, just because it's real data, and so like you own it, it's your experience. Which for you has been the most enjoyable and which has been the most profitable, or both?
Well, with Steve in Canada, we yet to get a project.
Okay.
So with Marie, it was a very profitable project. That's one. Now, Jack Cox, who is sitting on the sideline, is not in the community. Once was, life circumstance removed him. He removed himself. He's coming back into the community soon, I hope. Jack and I have done a number of profitable projects together. He's a former CFO of 3 companies. He's an M&A exit planner. I don't have that skill set. So we have gone to market. I've brought him into 3 or 4, and we're trying a 5th now client together, all profitable.
Do you mind if I stop you there for a second? So like, that's awesome. What, in your experience, because obviously it was a good drive, like he's a safe driver, obviously, right? Right. So like, how did the initial strategy, or how'd you create that opportunity to bring him in? And then how has that introduction or that relationship evolved over time?
I think these are unique because they were born out of my original interactions with George's Summits.
Okay.
Back in 2017. Yeah. And because of those interactions, we built 1, relationship of mutual interest, 2, trust, 3, sitting down and figure out how do we work together and be serious about it. Serious about it, underscore that, not just conversation. We have a lot of conversations. That's nice, but actually saying we're looking out for each other. We trust each other. We complement each other. And then when opportunity came up, we fulfilled that promise. And so it happened over time. And it was born out of what we're doing in Charleston and out of what we're doing here in part 2 before this actually existed. So, yeah.
So that's how it started. Over time, like, if you were going to give some pointers, those of us that are not as senior as you are,
We're talking wisdom, not age, right?
Everyone's senior year. By the way, come November 29th, I am a senior citizen.
Oh, there you go.
So
But like,
I'll catch you, Ed.
so, hopefully you'll never catch him. But
I know. But okay. So
like-
what's the question, Mike?
what's improved and changed? How have you guys tweaked it over time? Because that, I think, can be so valuable for people that are looking to create their own relationships like that now.
All right. Well, there's a certain things. One is when you believe there is mutual value in collaborating, to really understand what that is. So those are conversations I led with Marie and with Jack. What is it specifically, right? Who owns the client? All the rules of engagement we had open, honest talk about. And if you don't, then you're leaving things up to chance. So we knew exactly our roles. We knew exactly how we get paid. In cases, Marie paid me, and all the other, I paid Jack. I was the person that the client paid in 3 of the 4 of them. One case, we both paid. But we were always then meeting, briefing, interacting, debriefing. Brief, interact, debrief with clarity in writing. Otherwise, we leave things up to chance, and that's a recipe for failure or misunderstanding leading to failure. So that's how I work, and it's worked well. What that does is it reinforces the value prop for each other by doing it that way, and the client gets a better product because we leave nothing up to chance.
Awesome. Thanks. That's all I got. That was cool. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate you
Build on that for a second. So I just sent you all a copy of a link to the website that we're standing up for the new firm we're developing. And I don't want to lose anybody on that right now. Love to get your feedback. So we've spent several weeks or even months kind of noodling this around before we stood it up. It's published right now. We just haven't been promoting it yet. But on the topic that Mike raises here, like when you get to the about page, there's a quick blurb on me and then somebody locally that I've started working with who's magnificent. But we, in addition to the 2 of us, we want to make available the whole Growth Drive community, or at least the people that we need them when we need them. So we've gone back to that general contractor model. And when you need a good electrician or when you need a good architect or whatever, you can go grab them, right? Or we're the architects and we go find the contractors that we need. what I envision for that page is to grow that page and show a list of the trusted advisors that we have access to, that we're openly letting our prospects and our clients know that we've got this this priceless constellation of subject matter experts on business valuation, on business development, on whatever the areas that we can't deliver ourselves or where we believe it would make more sense to sub it out, right? And so where I'm angling is that I'd love to be able to feature some of your bios or logos of your company or whatever the case might be, because I think it lends credibility not only to our site, but it's all real. Like these are people that we would, like I've already brought Mike to introduce him to some of my COIs, and I hope to transform that into 2 or 3 really lucrative engagements for him and grow in the process, potentially open to value us. Larry on leadership. I mean, Ed on business valuation stuff. I don't even fully understand what everybody does, but one of the, if we could just carry this conversation a little farther, if you have the website up, take a look at that. Like what would that look like, and how? My sense is that if we needed a business valuation, we would recommend Ed, and then
Yes.
Ed would work through us, and like Larry's working with the other guy, that we would either handle a single billing or we would do that individually. Any conversation on that would be useful right now.
Yeah, because I often have to work through the attorney or financial planner when I do work, so I'm always in relationship with a referral person. An example is I was asked to do a minority valuation for a buyout of some minority shareholders with a rough estimate of it, and so I found some data, provided the information to a shall I say one of my CIAs, and the interesting part is that he took it, showed it to the client liked it. He sent me a check for $5,000. I gave him a 2-page report. Yes, it took a little while to get it together, but I knew where to get it, how to put it together, and I presented it in an articulated area tied to his specific industry. So I think that's the kind of things that we can bring. And now Larry's breadth is also very, very wide reaching. In addition to having a long arms, his knowledge skill is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to various areas of marketing.
Exactly. And, for my money, if I'm working with a client and it comes up that they need a business valuation, we're not going to mandate it. I mean, if they've got somebody in the business they know, or they're whoever, their M&A person or something knows that, that's great. But I'd like to be able to say, we've got a guy that you can trust, and this guy is golden. Like he just really enlighten them on you. And then to have somebody who's familiar with us and Growth Drive come in and do it, knowing, instead of us having to talk to some new guy here locally and say, well, do we explain the whole Growth Drive thing? Does he need to know it? Who are these guys, right? There's this disconnect. So for my money, having a rapport with the subject matter experts in the community for whatever we might need, it just makes tremendous sense. So I guess this is part conversation, part invitation. If you'd like, some sort of a visual on our website as a subject matter expert in your area. Well, I'm working on this with my partners as soon as tomorrow. We're working on a menu of how we take people through the Growth Drive framework and where we've got access to subject matter expertise in different stages of the way.
So, Tim, I just jump in here and say, selfishly, you're welcome to put Oak Hill on your website, and I would love to be there, right? First, as a business owner, I would love you to promote us on your website as a partner, and I already gave you permission to help me come in anytime you want, right? We've already talked about that. I would humbly suggest to you, though, that you might be making a mistake if you put too many of those partners, unless they're strategic partners who are the only ones who can do something or who have a very, very unique position in the marketplace. And here's why. The second you identify Eric or Oak Hill as your partner, you've alienated everybody else like me to say, oh, he already knows Eric. He's never going to call me, so I'm never going to send somebody to him. So I would just suggest to you humbly, you might want to think about your strategy for that. I don't know a single general contractor who puts who their plumber or who their electrician is on their website. And there's a reason for that, because they're going to use multiple ones, but they also don't want to play their hand out and alienate the other ones. And lastly, what if your client comes on and says, or your prospect comes on and says, I really like Tim. I like what he's saying. They go to look at your site and they go, I met that Eric guy and I can't stand him. Oh, you're associated with Eric. Now I don't want to do business with you. I think there's only downside to you by putting a bunch of names on there like that. And there's no upside for you. I think there's a little upside for us to be associated with you, but I think you may want to think about your strategy there, Tim. Just humbly suggest.
No, I appreciate that. And it's something that's crossed my mind. One option that kind of splits the baby would be to still create the page, but have it be unpublished. So when the time comes, if there's a need for us to call up our expertise, instead of just saying, I know this guy who has this amazing, strategic referral approach, let me make an introduction, I could open the page, it's unpublished, and I could show him, the blurb about strategic referral team or whatever, so that it could be that way too. So it doesn't do what you say.
I think you could solve the same problem though by having a PDF that shows, Mike Garrison and Tim are closely connected, and here's things we've collaborated on, and you can send that to them. But publishing it to, my point is, there's a difference between having the conversation I'm engaged in a conversation with you, and now I suggest, hey, I'm going to bring Mike Garrison along with me, or I'm going to bring Steven along with me, then there is publishing it on your website as a generic thing that everybody gets to see. So I don't know that it has to do anything with your website. This is just Eric's opinion, but I think you can communicate that in a different way. Mike?
Marketing guy, 35 years, right? So I've seen this, different versions of this, as long as there's been websites, right? And so Larry, like you presented another option that I've seen successful. Larry had a nice link in there where he's featured as a member of the team, not as an outside contractor with a separate website. It all comes down to trade-offs. Most of what I have seen, and I'm now not talking about Tim, because I dearly love having a friend I can call at 4 a.m. Right. So Tim, we're good, but right. But like, one of the things that I see driving the thought process here is a hope that a website will take care of part of the worst part of the sales process, which is getting people to buy, getting people to meet, right? And so ironically, if you have nobody on your website and you just say we do a lot of stuff, there's a trade-off. If you have everybody on your website and there's a trade. So like, at the end of the day, strategy will let you select the trade-off that best works for you.
Agreed.
So inherently, Tim, this comes down to, how are you going to get clients, right? What is your client acquisition process, and how important that website of yours is at what points, multiple point, at what points of the sales process. Is it designed to be a qualification tool, right? That you'll have out there and people visit and they make decisions about whether they want to progress to engaging, right? Or is it something that people will be going to after they're introduced to you on a referral basis, or both? Does that make sense? What I'm saying is, like, the strategy of client acquisition needs to determine what elements of marketing you choose, so that the trade-offs are known and chosen on purpose, as opposed to experienced later.
Yeah, I would just add to that. My whole, I should have said it in words on what my choices have been, Tim, rather than implying you should make the same choice as me. My client acquisition comes through COI referrals, and because my client acquisition comes through COI referrals, I don't want to eliminate. I'm trying to be careful not to eliminate specific COIs by saying, kind of the, if I say I do everything, then nobody's going to want to partner with me because I already do everything, right? Like, that's the way I'm playing my deck of cards, right? That doesn't mean anybody else should do it that way. I was pointing out what choices I've made and why I made them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
jumping and this is a good dialogue. This is important because it also matters, to your point, Mike, on marketing. Who's your client going to be? Now, the issue with the one I sent is they're advertising themselves not as an advisory firm, but as a consulting firm. And they do so to larger clients, and they want to be positioned that way. So they're showing a large number of people. The more people we show, in addition, Eric, to the trade-off points you made, is you lose the intimacy of that. These are a lot of people, but the owners buy into the trust they have, say, Tim, with you and Anthony. And more people you show. So another way is that we don't do this alone. We have a hub and spoke. Here are all of the different without showing the people, here are all the different subject matter experts we're tapped into. And that way they see that from a whatever standpoint it might be, that we bring that expertise, we bring that value to you, client.
Larry, as usual, you better state what I was trying to say. So I appreciate that. So like that's the strategy component. So if you're an individual small firm and you're targeting large clients, they're not going to be as receptive to you having all of these outside professionals, because most of those larger companies are going to perceive that as relational, like control risk, right? They like working with larger companies where they know that everyone is inside the tent. On the other side, if you've got a big, huge firm, you may not be intimate and agile, as Larry said, and you may not make it past a smaller business owner. So it comes down to who's your target market, where are you trying to penetrate. If you're looking to go after bigger fish, that website that Larry shared, that's an example of something I've seen work time and time and time again.
Yeah, I think, Mike, it goes to the same thing also. Are you trying to be a generalist or are you trying to be a deep specialist, right? If you want to be perceived as deep and in an area, the people who say we can help any business, or the people who say we only help medical manufacturers, right? It's a similar kind of thing. What's the message you're trying to say strategically, not only from a marketing sales standpoint, but what are you trying to be? What do you want to be? Right. And how you want that to align and then be in your sales strategy is how you're going to define yourself and how you're going to represent yourself. We say we build the whole building. So we're implying we got the electricians and we got the plumbers. We're just not saying they're on our team. Right? We've got that relationship to Larry's point, showing the different pieces we're going to build. Everybody knows what it means to build the whole building. It's got to have a foundation. It's got to have plumbing. It's got to have electricity. It's got to have a roof. They know what that means. So if we can say we build the whole building, they got that. We got to be able to have all those relationships. We just don't have to have them on our team.
I think what Larry was saying then is we'd be well off to use the hub and spokes model, like with a diagram, rather than showing Mike's bio so we don't drive business away.
Correct.
I would say, I agree with Eric and Mike on this, Tim, because if you take Resolve Partners, they didn't put me on their website overnight and welcome that. They vetted everyone who went on that over time, getting to know us, and having multiple conversations. That was not, you're welcome to put your logo on and name on our website. So it was done carefully. There is, in the Baltimore area, Silvana, you know about this group. Maybe you're on it. The Enterprise for Growth. Look them up. They're in the Baltimore, D.C. area, Tim, and they are that collaborative model. I think they have a number of names on it.
Yeah, it's all about risk mitigation. Like whenever and this is why most people fail at marketing, because there's no real strategy, no deep strategy. Like, so for example, like marketing strategy that doesn't include cost of goods sold is not marketing strategy. I mean, like so like you have to be able to on paper show me, actually not me, probably Eric or Tim or Ed, right? But you have to be able to show somebody who understands P&Ls why your ideal client persona is correct. Like it can't be because you like they're bitching and you're excited. And so, and Larry, by the way, once again, like that would be my thing. What you presented to Tim there was really, really gracious, Larry. So here's the blunt. Like most of the people you haven't known long enough, Tim, to put on your website, including me. It's probably especially me. Give me a chance to show you who I really am. Right? But like there's a reason why I don't have any of that stuff ever on my websites. It's because I'm paranoid.
I just want to add something here. So I want to take us into the owner's mind here. Okay. The owner's mind
We got the business owner focus, dollars, sales, family, team growth, hire, cash flow, IRS. And then we have this little bucket here called outside help. And all of a sudden, we want to pour all this information into the business owners. They don't need this. They need you to do that pre-work. They need you pre-prepared with the right resource at the right time. If we sit there thinking that somehow they're going to see this as a perceived value because we can throw all these names out there, I just wonder if that's really you really have a short little pipeline to get into the owner's mind. And you got to understand, you have to be very precise at delivering information at the right time, at the right, implications for what it is. So good news is you have the network, check. Do you have but it's all about their relationship with the owner and their team more so than who you know outside. But can we anticipate those problems? Ed and I just had a client come to us and say they want a national sales manager. Well, we pulled out two, what I thought I know are really good resources, and ended up being they found someone on their own, right? The demonstration that you can bring in viable resources and competent resources that show well, you will build long-term credibility, whether or not they go with them or not. So doing the resource is important, Tim, and and understanding what your network's like. Do you have to necessarily, does the owner really want to know all that detail? No. They just want to know that you can pull that rabbit out of the hat when necessary and not diffuse our focus from me trying to run my business and grow the day. That's my
Great
cents.
feedback. You guys have been very, very helpful. Thank you. Glad I brought it up.
So I know Jeff has points of information to offer. I'm not saying he has to, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there if Jeff wanted to weigh in.
Well, I appreciate that, Mike. No, this has been great. I love the feedback. My only, I think let's go with the whole general contractor and plumbers and electricians piece. Perhaps a way to go about this could be to call out the other specialties that you have access to without necessarily naming all the names. I've got I've got a fractional CEO. I've got this, I've got that. And we've got trusted advisors. Call us for more. That way you are truly the contractor.
Yeah, I love that. Here's the point. Like there is a point for ride and dies, right? There is a place for that. And I like Larry, how long have you known those folks at Riz?
6 years.
6 years. Like it's all about trade-offs. You guys are in charge of what you want your business to look like. Steve's building his out as we speak, right? If you've got somebody that you are convinced is absolutely best, right, and they're actually helping you, you can make a case for why you should both be on each other's website, right?
Huh?
But those relationships are so rare when we look at length of relationship. Like Silvana, you've been in business, you're only 30, so you started when you were 5. But like think about professional relationships that you've had over the years, right? And how many of them really endured? How many have migrated with you through different stages of life and are still relevant?
Yeah, a small number. I'd also humbly suggest too, you put too many people on your website and somebody might look at it and go, well, why do I need you, Tim? Why don't I go over to this firm over here? They seem to have everything I need. I'll just cut you out of it too. And so you do bring value. You bring value. Listing all the people you know only gives them a validation that those are good people to call, and they might call them directly. And would all those people that you list direct, if they knew it came from your website, would they direct them back and say, you need to call Tim, and Tim will call me if he thinks he needs me, right?
I agree with you on that. I think that the ecosystem that you put together of the COIs has a very clear grounding on, what are the rules and how we go about it. However, I feel like and I didn't see I didn't hear the beginning of the conversation. I'm assuming it's about how many uh, partners should we put on our websites and what's the right thing to do. I feel though, with everything I've heard and my personal experience, I always believe that depending on the segment that we're playing in, I think that we play an invaluable role because every one of those partners needs to be contextualized, and we provide the context because we understand
Yeah.
who the client is and what their problems are. And we decide to pull one partner versus another partner or two or three partners together to give them a choice.
Mhm.
But we provide the context. We are the gelling, creating that thing that otherwise they can do it on their own. But why would they? I mean, that's the whole point of having somebody like us, because presumably we create a longer term partnership. We're there to solve their problems in the longer term and to walk the road with them. And while we're doing that, we bring to bear our understanding of what they need, our understanding what the market is, understanding of who the players and the subject matter experts are in that, because no two tax attorneys are the same. If you are a GovCon, especially in our area team, you have to choose the one that has got more, experience, or tax accountant, or, business valuation person, whomever, whatever. So I think there is an invaluable role we play where we contextualize everything in terms that the business owners can consume at that particular time to achieve the correct goal.
Tim, can I suggest a different path maybe? Part of what you're looking for, I'm assuming, and this is an assumption, please correct me if I'm wrong. Part of it is the validation of, hey, if I have Mike's, if I put Mike's name and reputation on my site, that helps my site look better. I'd humbly suggest to you that you could do that a different way than listing them as strategic partners. Have them write recommendations like we would do on LinkedIn. Have somebody write, Tim, I would be happy to write something about the course that I took from on your change management, and write a recommendation for you that you would put on your website with my name on it, and my firm name on it, which would give you the credibility part without you committing to say Eric's my strategic partner and I don't use it, and I implying that you don't use anybody else. You might get, I think, the benefits that you want by doing that, and who you hang with, without committing it to the outside world as if these are the people that you've already chosen. Does that make sense?
That'll be very helpful. And just for clarity, so there isn't any one thing that I was trying to accomplish with sort of this concept or idea. It was a topic I wanted to bring up to the group to see, and I'm getting great feedback, by the way. This is so valuable. I think there's no question that we intend to use the Growth Drive community as trusted resources for our clients if and when the opportunity arises. I see that there's maybe an opportunity and even some basis for having something on the website that does more than just implies that, where it isn't just these two guys. Hey, there's these two guys that say they can make our business better, right? There's a piece in there that somehow demonstrates or validates that there's this rich resource, this constellation, like we call it, of subject matter experts that we have access to, that I don't have. Your business profiles or whatever listed makes tremendous sense. Like that I get that. They don't like this plumber, they'd rather use that plumber, whatever, or that they can bypass us. This has been very distilling for me. So it's something I've been kind of pondering about how or whether or what, all that. So this has all been very helpful. But there isn't any one thing that I wanted to accomplish with it. There's several things. One is to demonstrate that it's more than just Tim and Tony that are doing this. Two is that we can reach beyond whatever boundaries you think that we might have individually. And three is to start opening up the channels for, bringing business to each other, which we can do anyway. So I think you've been helpful with all that. And Eric, that anybody that offers any testimonials or kind words that you can add spice to this website with, I'd love to have it. And by the way, please feedback on any aspect of it. We've drilled into this one, but this is a crucible where this thing gets better. And Mike, to your point earlier, I don't think that there is any sort of one approach. I think our website gets used a number of different ways. In some cases, people hear about us through a referral, and then they want to go look us up. And is what they see intriguing? Is it validating? Is it alluring? Does it reinforce the decision that they should follow up with us? Other times people might come across it incidentally, and so they look and it's the first time they might get us on a search or something. I mean, there's a host of reasons why somebody might stumble onto the website or be sent to it. So I want it to work for each of those and at least not be a turnoff for any of them.
You can look at it like this, Tim. This is not the first iteration. Go to market. You will learn a lot by going to market together on what you need to improve. I just sent you an email on different ideas, but you have time.
Pull the trigger, right?
Yeah.
By the way, fixing that picture changes everything for you now.
Mike was giving me shit about the picture.
I got to run.
Up there, but
I have a call at 10:30.
Dealer.
So everyone
would,
take care.
thank you all. Thank you,
Well,
Larry.
Good seeing you.
Tim, I would like to explore with the community on how to promote clarity on a web page, if the word is clarity or not, kind of the fundamental business evaluation. And I like the 2x message that you're sending on your slug line, because I think that's the core of what we present, right? We present the mid range and the high range, and that's usually a 2x return. So, but what from a pure marketing perspective, I guess it's my, what are those things that attracts the ideal customer and what one kind of pushes them away? Sometimes it could be a little too salesy, and we're playing too small ball. We're, understanding that the engagement opportunity is probably a $10 million plus, maybe a $5 million plus business. Is that a different style of communication than maybe the $1 million company? And so I see your website, and I have a very similar type of, I've taken what's been offered me and I just basically dropped my name into it. So be curious if we have collectively some brain trust around what makes for good critical linkage in that early pages of the website. I don't know if anybody's got better thoughts there.
So there's nothing perfect, right? We all know that. Just to reiterate what Silvana said, there's no perfect solution. My suggestion is, in our industry over the last 30 years, and Ed, I'm not saying Ed's been doing it longer than me. All right. I don't think it has to be said, but only now that I've met him a couple of times, I'm comfortable. He's still bigger than me though. So Ed, be nice when I see you in Charleston. Here's my observation. Like, most of us get our best clients by referral.
Yep.
Okay. And most of you have a really shitty referral process. Okay. And I'm talking about me too. So when you get down to it, the website, right? The website for me, if I spend more than 4 hours on my website, I have wasted marketing time. Because fundamentally, since my entire system's predicated around other people answering the "why should I meet with you" question, the website for me is man, Tim, I love me some shit. That I obsess and waste time on my website too. But when you get down to it, if you're getting the right types of introductions via centers of influence and good clients, the website is just not that important. Like, the website has one job. Don't have them think they shouldn't come to the meeting. It's not how do you get the meeting, Okay. And so like,
Yes.
that's like, I think your website is freaking awesome. I don't think you need to do anything else now that you fixed that one glaring mistake, right? Like, just take it to market, see what happens. Because here's the deal. There are lots of people that will continue to take your time and money to keep upgrading your website to have it do whatever. And what you really need to do is be talking to all those people that are in that room a couple weeks ago. Like, that's all you need to do to get your business. And none of those people give a shit about your website.
Yeah.
I totally agree, Mike. I feel your pain, Tim. I've been paralyzed with the website too. And the funny part about it is I tell my clients the website is just one piece of the puzzle. And most of the time, it's not, you cannot have your website be everything to everybody. And there are so many audiences that we target with our websites. And there are so many other things that go through your mind, and trying to reconcile everything in one place. I know in my heart I'm not supposed to do, and I still am like you, paralyzed, wondering, is it perfect? And it's not, because it's not out there. So
Yeah.
it's just a small piece.
So Silvana, so like Tim, when you look at it, here's the easy way. If you only wanted to work with owners of commercial electrical companies with at least 75 employees and market values of 30 million, the website would be remarkably easy to design. Right. So that's the more that you get, and that's why I just do it now. Like, down the road, when you find that sweet spot of these are my people or whatever, if you do or if you don't, that's when it gets really, really profitable. Stephen, you have been remarkably silent. This is going out on the internet. You must say some wise things which will have people want to work with you.
Okay. Well, I would say that I think that what Silvana and Joe both spoke about kind of hones in on a very important aspect. And it kind of ties to, that wheel with the spokes, where you're not trying to overload the business owner with everything all at once. You are the expert that analyzes where they are, identifies what they need, and then specifically brings that subject matter expert at the appropriate time to the table. That is the intense value that we can bring as growth drivers. So, in designing your website, saying that you have access to all of these things is less important than the direct interaction that you have with your client, saying, you need this, let me make some introductions, and then we can see where we move forward from there, because this is the thing that we need to attack, and this is how we are going to get the results that you intend.
Yeah. The first part of your website's the best part. It answers the question. Right? Is your business building the wealth and freedom you want? Like, that's that. If and I'm knowing you, can you answer that question? Can you deliver that to them?
Yes.
Huh, good. Published. Done. Next.
Yeah. And just, I'm not toiling over the website. Like, it's up there. It's published. We're not waiting to publish it. We're not hesitating. Like, it's live. We're starting to send links to people. I want to share it with you all in case you got ideas, tips, or things. But the big answer that I got today was whether or how or whether not to expand on the list of this constellation of subject matter expertise we got. And I got that loud and clear, very helpful. And still the invitation is open. Here's how I think the website works. I think that when people get that referral, because that's where the majority of people are going to hear about us, I think the very next thing they're going to do is they're going to go to the website. Not to mention some of the social media stuff, or maybe all the social media stuff we've got going out is going to go directly to our knowledge base or to something that's on the website, or say, hey, if you're interested at all, check it out here. I found that sending people a link to Clarity One is very sterile, and it requires a bunch of text and copy around it. So that's why we created that landing page, to give them a place where they can land and get fluffed up a little bit before they take it. It explains a little more about what or why, right? And so I think the very next thing that happens when somebody gets a referral or hears about us on social media or something is they go to that website. And in seconds, they either get a hell yes or a hell no, right? Or maybe not, right? So that's really where I think the website comes. If somebody told me about Mike's website, and I went there and I saw something in the first few sections that said, I agree with that. That sounds intriguing. That sounds interesting. I'm going to follow through, and I'm going to follow through with more vigor. So that's just a little more about what I know about websites and what I coach my clients on with their websites. In this particular case, my question was about how or whether to do this showcase of subject matter expertise. And I think the feedback that you all have given has been spectacular. I'm so glad that I threw it out there this morning. So,
Well, and
thank
not
you.
only that, Tim.
And the invitation's open. So anybody has any more advice except keeping Mike's picture off my website, I'm open.
Put Ed on your website. There you go.
And I mean, you kind of answered your own question there too, Tim, where they come to your website and they have their answer within a few seconds. So in doing all of this ancillary stuff, to the left or right, when you're really considering the trade-offs, if they've already answered yes, and they're just exploring the rest of your website to see more of what you're about, you definitely do not want that yes to become a no. So keep it to where they don't have a reason to say no. And I think you've got a winner, whatever that kind of ends up being, whether that's, hey, these are the subject matter pieces that, we have compared to I work with Eric Owen and you have a client that's like, oh, Eric, that guy, suddenly that becomes a no. Just make it to where that yes, because if they're a no, they're already gone. They're not going to continue looking at your website trying to turn that no into a yes. So the reverse is definitely valuable here. Keep that yes. Don't give them a reason to say no.
Yeah, great point. Thanks.
Tim, thanks for bringing it up and getting the conversation going, because it definitely got some good stuff out, right? And appreciate you letting your hair down enough to say, hey, what are your guys' thoughts on it?
I think it was a great Klatsch. A lot of people contributed, which was awesome.
So should we go around and takeaways from, because we covered several layers of discussion here. What were some good takeaways? Jeff, you want to start us out with a takeaway?
Don't put my picture on your website. That's my takeaway.
That is a good takeaway. Jeff, Jeff's frozen up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Be true to your client. Be true to yourself. Don't confuse them.
Oh, good. Silvana?
Don't overthink and don't give them a reason to say no after they've said yes.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Joe, what do you got?
Looking at you, Stephen.
Remember, you're a wingman there. You're help them as whatever they got going on. So as a wingman, what are you going to do? And what would you like to be done to you? So,
Great. Ed, what do you got?
I think the key thing I found in that is don't have an instant answer. Take time to reflect on the question and say, I've got to do some and more referral and investigation before I can give you a directional response.
Tim?
Yeah, my takeaway is you got something to talk about, throw it out to the community.
Yeah,
Let everybody,
nice.
let everybody pack the snowball, right? So,
yeah, sweet.
It sure is.
I like a good snowball.
Mm-hmm.
Steven.
Dave?
My big takeaway, personally, like you said, since I'm just building my business right now, is as I'm going out and networking with people and developing these subject matter experts, that I'm not going to have my ride or die, especially like within the first year. Like it's going to take a lot of time, and having a commitment to really developing that network, finding these people, and really broadening that scope is going to be very, very important as I move forward.
Nice. What was that, Mike?
Who hasn't gone, Eric?
I think it's you and me. So how about you, Mike?
I
And
went.
Joe. And
Don't
Joe.
put no, Joe went. Don't put my picture on your website.
That was your suggestion. I got it. You jumped in with a quick one. Mine actually goes back to something I believe in deeply, and I think Silvana articulated it best, but several people touched on it, and that is our value isn't just the technical knowledge we have. Our value is also understanding the client and helping them sort out who they need and in what order. All of that is in our value proposition. We often, as technicians, forget that and lean back on, look at my shiny tools in my toolbox. But if we're forgetting about the value we bring as the person who helps them connect to the right people, I'm about to do that at 11 o'clock. I'm going to put my client in front of a couple more people because they found one randomly. And I said, I'm not sure this is the right one for you. And so I want to introduce them to a couple of other people and then have them say, yeah, I do like the one I met before. Or, oh, I didn't realize you could be this good in this area. Right. That's a huge value we bring.
Yeah.
So
Seriously, it was Silvana's thing about context, because that's really it.
yeah.
Is we set the context, and that's where we really help that business owner with what Tim's value prop is, the freedom, right? Because
Yeah.
and they struggle with context. You guys rock. Appreciate you all.
Yeah. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
super.
Great call.
This episode is brought to you by the Growth Drive Summit. Our theme this year is building a profitable advisory business. Join us in Charleston, South Carolina, October 6th, 7th, and 8th. Expand your network, learn new skills, and generally have a good time. This is a top-rated event. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.